Now you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the new Star Wars SH Figuarts Count Dooku figure from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. Now this thing comes in a pretty basic looking box. You've got on the front there an image of the figure, and in the background another image of the character shooting lightning. Off to the side you've got yet another image of the figure, and then on the back you've got additional images showing off the various accessories that come with it, and then a bunch of writing I really can't read. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Now, first thing you do get with the figure is a basic instruction sheet that shows you how to attach all the accessories and everything. It is pretty self-explanatory, but even though the writing is in a foreign language, they give you pictures to show you how everything works. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Accessories, we get 4 different pairs of hands. We get a pair of closed-fisted hands, and those are the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get this pair of open hands. Looks like he's kind of wielding the Force with these. Then you get a pair of grip hands for his lightsaber. And then finally you get this pair of lightning shooting hands that has the translucent blue plastic coming out of the fingers. Now for his lightsaber, you get his hilt, the unique curve-shaped hilt that you see in the movie. You actually get 2 versions of this. So you get the unlit lightsaber version that has this little metal piece that sticks out, and it's done with a metallic silver and black, and then you've got a little bit of yellow up here at the top, or gold, and then some red down here at the bottom. And you've also got this little clear peg that you use to plug into the figure's belt. So again, when he's not actually using the lightsaber, he can store it there. Or if you just want him holding the lightsaber hilt without having the blade ignited, you can use this one. And then you get a second version that has the blade, the translucent red blade, which is removable. You can actually remove it, but you'll notice that that little metal piece is actually attached to the blade, not to the hilt. So again, if you want to have him holding the lightsaber without the blade extended, you'd probably want to use the other one. But this one primarily is for, when he's actually ready to do a lightsaber duel and has the blade ignited. And if you want to store the lightsaber hilt on the figure, the hole is here on the left side on his belt, and again you just take the one with the little peg that sticks out and you plug it in so it looks like it's hanging off of his belt there. Now as long as you have the grip hands attached to the figure, he'll hold the lightsaber in either hand, and he does hold the blade pretty tight. And of course you can have one hand shooting lightning, so you can take one of the lightning effect hands and plug it in. They just plug in with little pegs. But you can have one hand holding the lightsaber and the other hand shooting lightning, or you can have both hands shooting lightning, however you want to mix it up. And then finally for accessories, you get 2 different head sculpts. And honestly, this is probably the best thing about this figure are these head sculpts. To me, they look dead on to the actor. I will say, however, that I think they could have differentiated the 2 head sculpts a little bit more. They have a little bit different facial expressions, but for the most part, they're very similar to one another. So again, maybe they could have given us a little bit more of a different expression with one of these 2 head sculpts if they're going to give us 2. But they both do look like the actor. Now you've got the white hair, you've got some wash in the hair. You've got more wash in this head sculpt than you do with this one. The hair is more white on this one, which I actually kind of like better. This one, it almost looks like his hair is getting kind of thin. It looks, it's a wash, but it almost looks like you're seeing his scalp through his hair there. So I think I like this one a little bit better. But as for the actual, faces and how it looks to the actor, I think both are dead on, and I think they did a great job with this one. And here's a look at the first head sculpt attached to the actual figure. And then here's a look at the second head sculpt. Okay, now for the figure itself, while not a bad figure, I do have some complaints about it, and primarily my biggest complaint comes with this cape. It is a soft goods cape. It's actually a double stitched material cape, so it's a thick material, and I just don't like the way it hangs on the figure. I think it kind of just basically overtakes the figure a bit too much. Part of it's the way they've done it, where you've got this underpiece that sticks out here on the sides. They've actually stitched it that way, so you can't have it, it just doesn't lay flat against the figure that much. You can kind of push it in like that, and I think it looks better when you kind of push it in like that, but as soon as you let go, it has a tendency to kind of poof back out. So I really don't like that. You have this, for the under material, you've got this lighter, silkier brown color, and then on the back side, it's a darker brown, which looks pretty good. But again, I just don't really like the way the cape hangs on the figure, and because it's not removable and because you can't like unfold this, it just seems like that's really all you can do with it, is kind of have it just hang out like that. Now, my other minor complaint comes with this chest piece, the way they've done the chest there. I understand why they did that for articulation, but to me it just seems to stick out a bit too much. You know, Dooku had more of kind of that kind of like completely wrinkle-free outfit and stuff, the way I kind of remember it. So I just don't like the way they designed that chest piece as much. It does have, you know, allow for the articulation and everything, which is good, but again, I just don't like the way it really looks on the figure. Now, the figure is done primarily with this dark brown color. You do have some wash effect there, like on this tunic piece, which is done with a softer rubber material, this bottom portion under the belt, and then you've got the pants, which, you know, are baggy, and then he's got the long black boots, which look pretty good, so no complaints there. And then, you know, the way the rest of the figure looks with the joints and everything is typical for an SH Figuarts figure, so no huge complaints there. You know what to pretty much expect in regards to that. Okay, now this figure stands right about 6 1/4 inches tall. And here's a comparison of the SH Figuarts Mace Windu figure. Now, this is the only other prequel SH Figuarts figure that I have. I don't have like Obi-Wan or Anakin, so I can't give you a comparison of those two with them. Now, if you're primarily a Black Series collector, but tired of waiting for Hasbro to give us a Count Dooku figure for that line, you know, I do think you could probably use this as a fill-in. It is a little bit shorter, as the Figuarts figures often are. But again, if you just want like a fill-in until Hasbro eventually gives us Dooku, which I'm sure they eventually will, you know, I think it works pretty well. Okay, so for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. He's got good rotating movement there at the head. He can look down pretty good, and then he can look back pretty good as well. You get movement with the entire neck piece, which is nice. You also get head pivot with this one, so overall good head movement. And then with the arms, you can get the arms out pretty good. You've got that kind of inner butterfly type joint, so you get some back and forth movement. You can get the arm back pretty good there on that ball joint, which is nice for lightsaber poses. You can rotate the arm all the way around. So overall good shoulder movement. You also have pretty good bending there at the elbow. You can bend the elbow that much. You have rotation with those joints at the elbow, and then you have rotation with the hands, and then the hands are attached with those little pegs, so you can rock back and forth a bit or up or down. With the midsection, you can rotate there at the midsection. You can also pivot to the left and to the right. You can crunch forward a little bit there at the midsection, though I do want to recommend caution. You can see I've kind of stressed the plastic where the upper piece is kind of rubbed against the lower piece, so just be careful with that. And then he can look back pretty good there at that midsection. You do get a little bit of gappage between the upper torso and the lower torso when you have him look all the way back, but again, he does have pretty good back movement there. And then you also get a waist swivel with this one. It's attached with a ball type joint, and you can pivot to the left and right a little bit, and you get some forward and back movement there at the waist as well. And then with the legs, you do have the tunic that hangs down over the legs, which is made with that rubber material, so that is going to limit some of your leg movement. You can do the splits about that much with this one, and then you can get the leg forward about that much. You do get the cut in the tunic, so you can still get the leg forward pretty good, and then you can do the leg back about that much. You've got rotation up high there with the thigh type swivel joint, and you've got good bending there at the knee. You can bend the knee about that much, and then you have a little bit of rotation there at the knee as well. And then with the feet, you've got the hinges, so you've got the back and forth movement. You've got a little bit of ankle pivot there with this one, and rotation there with the foot. And then you also have toe articulation with this, and no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So the things I like most about this figure, I like the accessories, I like the lightsabers, I like the fact they gave us the lightning shooting hands. That's a nice touch. And the thing I like most about this figure are the head sculpts. I think both head sculpts look dead on to Christopher Lee, the actor who played Dooku in the movies. Now, maybe it would have been nice if they had differentiated the expressions on the two head sculpts a little bit more, But again, both look dead on to the actor, and I think they did a great job with that. The thing I like least about this figure is the cape. I think it looks too big and cumbersome on it. It's not removable, and it does throw off the look of the figure a little bit. I also don't like the chest piece, the way it kind of sticks out on the figure. I think that also throws off the overall look of the figure a bit. But still, you know, definitely a solid looking figure with the head sculpts and dead on to the actor. Now this figure is available now. We'll have a full image gallery up at JediInsider.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to all those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.